All right, welcome back, everyone. We're back with another Latindian style. And you guys wanted to know more about what's going on with Nidal Wonder and his crew. Well, we dove into his latest YouTube video, and trust me, there is a lot to unpack.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We've got relationship rumors, a mysterious break from posting, and even a Jenga tower collapse, all crammed into one video.
It's a wild one.
Ready to break it down?
I am.
Let's start with why Nidal took that break from YouTube.
Right.
He addresses it pretty directly in the video, saying recovering from his accident took a lot more out of him than he expected,
Mm.
both physically and mentally.
Yeah, it's really refreshing to see a creator be so open about their struggles, especially when there's so much pressure to always be on, creating content.
Right.
And it's a good reminder, I think, for all of us that behind those polished videos are real people,
Right.
dealing with real life challenges.
Absolutely.
Taking care of your mental health is so important, especially after a traumatic experience like an accident. It's
Yeah. And speaking of real-life challenges, let's talk about those relationship rumors.
okay.
The whole video has this will they, won't they energy between Nidal and Salish.
Mm-hmm.
And fans are eating it up.
They are.
But Nidal insists they've never liked each other like that, quote unquote.
Right, right.
What do you make of all that?
Well, the format of the video itself, with, all the friends there asking those pointed questions, definitely adds to the playful ambiguity.
Yes.
It's like they're kind of teasing the viewers a little bit, playing into those rumors.
Totally. And it's not just Nidal and Salish. Remember that question about Addie being jealous of their closeness?
Oh, yeah.
And her response, we're vegetarian.
Yes.
So good.
That was brilliant.
I thought it was just so...
So much maturity there.
Yeah.
And respect, It kind of subtly shifted the focus away from romantic jealousy to this more mature understanding of friendship. Like maybe sometimes it's okay to just be good friends, Not every close relationship has to be romantic. It's like she was saying, we have a different kind of connection, and that's perfectly fine.
Totally. And it makes you wonder, is this whole will they, won't they thing just a playful dynamic between friends?
Mm-hmm.
Or is there something more there?
Right.
A little bit of both, maybe.
It's all part of the intrigue,
Yeah.
and Nidal's playing it perfectly.
Speaking of playing things perfectly, can we talk about that Jenga game?
Oh, yeah.
The intensity, the trash talk,
Yeah.
Gigi's crumble cookie strategy.
Nidal's focus was incredible.
Yeah.
It was like he was playing a game of chess, not Jenga.
I was on the edge of my seat watching it.
Right. But what's interesting is how that Jenga game almost mirrors like the whole vibe of the video.
Uh-huh.
And maybe even Nidal's return to YouTube.
Oh, interesting.
It's all about balance, strategy and knowing when to make a move.
Yeah.
Whether it's in a game, in a relationship, or online.
I see what you mean, and the way it all came crashing down.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Who was really at fault? It's like a metaphor for how quickly things can change, especially when you're in the public eye.
Right, yeah.
Like Nidal and his friends.
It definitely leaves you thinking.
Yes.
Is that Jenga tower collapse a sign of things to come? Are there like deeper cracks in this friend group than we realize?
So many questions.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes this video and Nidal's whole return so captivating.
I agree.
He's not giving us like clear-cut answers,
Right.
He's giving us pieces of the puzzle and letting us figure it out ourselves.
And that's what makes him such a compelling creator.
Yeah.
He's not just entertaining us, he's engaging us, making us think, drawing us into his world.
Totally. And that brings us to the big question now that he's back. What kind of content will Nidal make? Will he stick to the fun, lighthearted stuff, the pranks, the challenges? Or is he hinting at something deeper, something more personal?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
But before we dive into that, I think it's important to look back at what led to this point. Let's talk about the accident and how it seems to have impacted Nidal, both personally and creatively.
Okay, that's a great point. He definitely seemed more introspective in this video, almost like he's hinting at a new direction for his channel.
Yeah.
But before we go there, we need to rewind a bit.
Yeah.
Let's unpack the impact of that accident.
You're right, the accident was a turning point. He mentioned how life took a downhill turn after the crash, and even though he didn't give us a ton of details about what exactly happened, you can just kind of sense the impact it had.
Yeah, and he was pretty vague about the specifics, but I think his honesty about struggling physically and mentally really resonated with viewers.
Yeah.
It makes him relatable, even amidst all the fame and the online buzz.
Absolutely. It humanizes him, reminds us that even the people who seem to have it all figured out still go through tough times.
Right.
It's a valuable reminder, I think, for all of us to be kind and patient, especially when, someone's health and well-being are involved.
Definitely. And let's not forget, he was also dealing with some YouTube drama during his time off. Remember when he mentioned that copyright strike
Oh,
and
yeah.
joked about the platform not liking his aura?
Right.
What do you think he meant by that?
Well, that aura comment is classic Nidal, deflecting a potentially sensitive topic with humor.
Right.
But it also speaks to like the challenges that creators face navigating, platform algorithms and content restrictions.
It's a constant struggle to stay on top of those ever-changing rules,
It is.
and especially when they feel arbitrary.
Yeah.
For someone like Nidal who thrives on creative freedom and pushing boundaries, that must be so frustrating.
Exactly. It highlights that tension between, artistic expression and platform control,
Right.
which is a theme that's becoming more and more relevant, I think, in the digital age.
Totally.
And this brings us back to that Jenga game
Okay.
and how it reflects this tension. There were some seriously risky moves happening in that game,
Yes.
both in the game itself and in the conversations around it.
It was like they were all testing the limits.
Yeah.
Seeing how far they could push things before the tower or their relationships came crashing down.
Right.
What did you make of those dynamics?
Oh, it was fascinating that Jenga game was like a microcosm of the whole episode. Playful, competitive, and at times a little chaotic.
Yeah.
Just like the dynamic between Nidal, Salish, and Addie.
Right.
They're walking this tightrope between their real lives and their online personas, and the stakes are high.
It's a good reminder that life isn't always picture perfect. It's about embracing the highs and the lows, the wins and the losses, and doing it all with a sense of humor and authenticity.
Well said. And speaking of authenticity, Nidal choosing to address the relationship rumors head on, even if playfully shows his desire to be transparent with his audience.
He might not have given us straight answers, but at least he acknowledged the speculation, and engaged with it on his own terms.
Yeah.
It felt genuine.
Exactly. He's not trying to control the narrative or shut down the conversation. He's inviting us to participate, to speculate, and to draw our own conclusions.
Yes.
That's a sign of a creator who truly respects his audience.
And trust that they can handle a little ambiguity.
Right.
He's not spoon-feeding us the answers.
Exactly.
He's giving us puzzle pieces and letting us put them together ourselves.
Which to me is what sets Nidal apart.
Yeah.
He's not just entertaining us, he's making us think, challenging us to engage with his content on a deeper level.
And that brings us back to Nidal's return and the big question, what kind of content are we going to see from him now? Will we get more of the lighthearted fun, the pranks and the challenges, or is he hinting at something more introspective, something more real?
It's a great question, and it's fascinating to consider what resonates most with us as viewers.
Yeah.
What do we seek from the creators we follow? Are we willing to embrace their evolution as they grow and change?
We're all on this journey together, both viewers and creators, figuring things out as we go, and sometimes the most interesting discoveries happen when we step outside of our comfort zones.
Couldn't agree more. And speaking of stepping outside comfort zones, let's shift gears to that intriguing question that Nidal posed at the end of his video. Remember, he starts to say, does he support in English, and then cut to black.
Such a cliffhanger.
What do you think he was going to reveal?
It left me wondering, was it a political stance? A controversial opinion?
It's hard to say for sure, but that sudden cut creates so much intrigue.
For sure.
It leaves the audience wondering, debating, and ultimately wanting more classic Nidal, keeping us on our toes.
Yeah, it was a power move for sure, ending the video like that. But I don't think it was just a clever editing trick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Remember we were talking about how much Nidal's been through lately?
Right.
Maybe this is his way of saying he's ready to engage with like more serious topics, Use his platform to talk about things that matter to him.
That's an interesting thought. Yeah, maybe this question marks a turning point in his content.
Yeah.
A shift towards deeper conversations.
Right.
He did say he wanted to answer actual good questions. So perhaps he's challenging both himself and his audience to think critically about the world around us.
Totally. And challenging himself to go beyond just entertainment,
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, hey, I'm not just here for laughs.
Right.
I have opinions and I'm not afraid to share them.
Which, if you think about it, aligns with his decision to address those relationship rumors head on. He's not shying away from potentially tough conversations.
Yeah.
He's leaning into them, but in his own way, with
Okay.
that mix of humor and honesty that he's known for.
So where does this leave Nidal Wonder's YouTube channel? I think it's safe to say things are about to get a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
He's back. He seems to have grown from his experiences, and he's ready to connect with his audience on like a whole new level.
And as viewers, we have a choice to make. You know,
Huh.
are we going to follow him on this journey, embrace the complexities and the challenges, or are we just going to skim the surface?
Right.
Nidal's thrown down the gauntlet,
Yeah.
He's inviting us to dive deeper, think critically, and engage with his content in a more meaningful way.
And that's what makes a truly great creator, isn't it?
Yeah.
They don't just entertain, they make us think, they challenge us, and they leave us wanting more.
Yeah.
To answer your question from earlier, the content I hope to see from Nidal is anything that surprises us, pushes boundaries, and sparks conversations.
Right.
The kind of content that reminds us that even online, there's still room for authenticity, vulnerability, and a bit of mystery.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So to our listeners, we leave you with this. Nidal Wonder is back, and the game has changed.
Ooh.
Are you ready to play?